In this video training, I'm going to show you the importance of item costing, how to item cost, and how neglecting this process cost one major restaurant chain I was working with millions of dollars. Let's get it on. Hey there, how you doing? Dave Allred, the Real Barman here from barpatrol.net. So today I'm going to jump right in. This information I'm about to share with you about the chain restaurant is quite mind-boggling, but really quick, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so now. Hit that little bell so you don't miss out on how to run a successful bar and restaurant, and so you don't miss out on any of my awful dad jokes. That would be a travesty. So today we're talking about the importance and the power of item costing. And if you don't cost out each one of your menu items and understand not only how much profit each of them is making, but which one are your home run dishes, you're missing out on a big piece of the business puzzle. And that's exactly the point I want to get across in this video training. No matter what type of establishment you run, from a hip-hopping nightclub to a fine dining restaurant, you can have as much fun with it as you want. That's why we do it. But when it comes down to it, it's a business and you need to run it like one. Make sense? Okay, enough preaching. You get it. So as I mentioned, now we're going to take a look at how damaging it can be to not have your policies and standards set by looking at a major restaurant chain who was not doing it very well. Okay, so back in 2010, 2011, when I started Bar Patrol, I had the privilege of working with a lot of the local corporate restaurant chains, and I was working mostly on the bar side with them, helping them identify their losses so I could lower their pour costs and their variance percentages. Now, this particular chain restaurant had all the usual shrinkage problems of other bars. They were losing about 30% of their products due to bartender theft and negligence, but we cleaned that up within a couple weeks, and we lowered their cost percentage by about 5%. Okay, that's great, but as I dove in deeper, I noticed something that I had no control over, and that was their portion policies, which were outrageously irresponsible. And when I pointed it out to the GM, he said that he had no control over that the beverage director on a national level implemented and oversaw all creation and portions of all cocktails and drink policies. I mean, this looked like the worst item costing execution ever from a national chain level. All I could think of was that this beverage director was an idiot. And I couldn't believe that nobody was backing it up and looking at the numbers, especially considering all the people looking at it from the higher ups, okay, which made them all idiots. All right, and I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but come on. So, like a mad scientist, I shut myself in my office and I ran some numbers. Okay, I had about 12 weeks worth of inventory and sales data, so I grabbed my calculator, punched in a bunch of numbers, and what I found was mind-boggling. Okay, so let's head to the computer so I can show you what it looks like. Let me get out of the way here. And so after I go over these policies set by this beverage director, I'm going to show you the math on how much money these policies are losing that chain restaurant. Okay, so you don't make the same travesty as this lady. Okay, so I'm going over 4 different policies really quick. The first one is the martini policy, and this one's really not so bad. This exists everywhere in the bar industry. If you want the best money for your value when you go out, order a martini. It's usually only like a $2 upcharge for whatever liquor you're ordering. You get a lot of liquid in that martini glass. Now, I recommend 2.5 ounces, so my math is based on that ½ ounce overpour that they're doing, but a lot of places do this. This one isn't the worst thing in the world, but let me show you what I mean. If you were to order a Grey Goose and soda, the most common pour is 1.5 ounces. So let's say it's $9 for a Grey Goose and soda. You can get another additional shot for $2, okay, by ordering a martini. All right, you can see how much that's going to cost your bar. This, like I said, exists in a lot of bars, but these other policies don't as much. Let's talk about the doubles policy. It's the same policy as the martinis. So if you come in and order, say, a double Jack and Coke for $7, you get 1.5 ounce pour, you pay $7. If someone comes in and orders a double Jack and Coke, this place would do a $2 upcharge just like the martini, so you're basically getting a second Jack and Coke for $2. All right, do you do that, or do you know anyone who does that? Someone might give like $1 off or even $2 off. Who's giving a Jack and Coke for $2? This was their policy. Same thing with the rocks policy. This one's really bad because of perceived value. I also have a video on that you can go check out. But most places just pour a regular shot over the rocks. This place has the same policy for all their drinks. So if you order a drink on the rocks, they don't even ask you. They just pour you a double and do a $2 upcharge. The problem is the guest has no idea. They just think it's a normal shot, especially at this place. They had big glasses and they just put a little bit of rocks in there. It didn't fill it up very much. They thought they were just getting a shot. Plus now they think it's $2 more. So they go across the street and get a Jack on the Rocks for $7. Here it costs them $9. So it's costing the restaurant more money by pouring extra, and this person has no idea they're getting a great deal. So it's not even like they're excited about it. At least with the double, they're getting a double for $9. They're like, oh crap, that's great. Give me a double, I'll drink that. At least there's some perceived value in there. With the rocks, there's not. Now let's move on to the cocktail menu policy. Most of their cocktails had about 3 ounces of liquor in there, and this does not even include the juices and everything else, the cost that goes in there. The average price on there was like $8 or $9. And that's a 35% pour cost if you do the math on that. So their cocktail menu has a 35% pour cost. That's about twice as much as it should be. You know, absolutely ridiculous. So now I'm going to show you the math, but before I do, let's talk quickly about loss at wholesale versus loss at retail. Okay, there's a difference here. Wholesale is what you pay. Loss at retail is the potential sales you could have made if you would have sold it correctly and not given it away. So really quick, bottle of Grey Goose might cost you $36. That's $1.06 per ounce. This is based on a 1 liter bottle. The retail value of that bottle is $202.50 if you sell it at $9 per shot and you're pouring 1.5 ounces per shot, assuming the bartenders pour it correctly and don't give it away. Okay, the difference is, if you drop that bottle of Grey Goose accidentally, that's a loss at wholesale. You lost $36. It's an accident. There's nothing you can do about it. But if the bartenders are giving it away and you could have sold it at retail, that's a loss at retail. The losses are somewhere in between usually. I'm going to show you both, the losses at wholesale and retail, but let's just take the bare minimum and say that they just had losses at wholesale. The very least they could have lost, and you're going to see how bad it is. Okay, I also have a video on this. You can go check out the loss at wholesale versus retail if you want to understand it more. Okay, so let's go to the geek out. All right, this is what I did. I shut myself in my office. I'm not going to go over every line of this data. You can pause the video if you want to look at it. But with the martini, their policy was 3 ounces. I suggest 2.5 ounce pours. Just based on that 1/2 ounce over pour, they sold 100 per week. They were losing $472,000 per year just wholesale. Okay, the retail losses are $2.67 million, but let's just look at the wholesale losses. They're losing $472,000 by overpouring that 1/2 ounce. Okay, just on martinis. If we go to rocks and doubles, suggested pour 1.5 ounces. This is just the rocks pour actually, not the doubles. Suggested pour is 1.5 ounces. They were doing the $2 upcharge, but they're losing $6 per drink on average. So their total wholesale losses per year on this rocks pour policy is $759,000. This is one location. This place had over 200 locations. The cocktail menu, okay? Average pour policy on average. I went through all their cocktails on their menu and how much portion each cocktail got. The average pour was 2.88 ounces, just under 3 ounces. Average price was $8.50, okay? Average losses per year, $3 million. Based on this policy and how many cocktails I sold off this menu. Absolutely insane. Okay, now this is based on one location, a fairly busy location. We can't assume that every location in the country for this chain restaurant was going to be this busy, but it's just let's see what happens when we do it all across the country. So I did that, and I showed them how much money they're losing, and of course they never contacted the beverage director, didn't want to know. But this is how much money they're losing. So let's add it all up together. The martini losses, the rocks losses, the cocktail menu losses, and it all comes out to wholesale losses of $4.2 million per year at this one location. Retail losses $23 million. Okay, I went and looked at another corporate chain that was rather successful at the end of this year. They produced their financial records. They were doing about 10% net profit before taxes. Average in the restaurant business is about 3 to 6% if you're going to be successful. This chain restaurant was at about 1.2% net profit, and it's because of these drink policies. Okay, they're 9% below this other chain restaurant that's kind of similar to them as far as success and how busy they are in sales. 9% difference on net profit, which is huge when you're doing millions of dollars. So that was proof to me that my numbers were not lying right there. So there's my nightmare story of this chain restaurant and how much money they're losing. And I know you probably want to know which one it is. You're dying. You're like, just tell us, Dave, which one it is so I can go out and get wasted for as little money as possible. But I can't do it. I'm not going to call them out. The local GM there, I really liked him, so I'm not going to bring any heat on him. But this irresponsible beverage director should be called out, even though that sounds harsh. I mean, her job is to not just make yummy cocktails, it's to make the company money, which she is not doing. So, moving on to item costing, because that's the whole purpose of this training, is to teach you what it is and how to do it and make sure you're making money and not making these mistakes. So first off, what is item costing? Well, item costing is the process of first determining the portion amounts of each ingredient that go into each menu item, determining the cost of each of those portions wholesale wise, deciding on the price you should sell each menu item at, so you're making sure you get that profit margin, all for the purpose of getting the most profit and lowest cost for each menu item. Okay, great. So where do we enter all this information? Well, there's a few options out there. You can do recipe cards. There's some software that does it. Excel templates are great. They do all the formulas for you. For example, inside my restaurant management masterclass, which helps you systemize and run a wildly successful bar and restaurant, on our resource page here, you can see we have all sorts of templates on here. We have financial templates, vision and mission. We have checklists, hiring and firing, employee hiring packet, and then we have marketing templates down here. So right here, under cost controls and profit, we have our item costing template here, and then we have our Rockstar item costing, which gives you all of your home run dishes. I'm going to go over that in a second. For our item costing one, you can see this one filled out here. You enter your menu items, you enter the ingredients and the sell price, and it's going to tell you what your cost is, your cost percentage, and your profit is for every single menu item. Okay? And then you can directly enter that into the Rockstar item costing, enter how many were sold each week. I'm going to show you that in just a second. But if you enter all your item costing in here, you only have to do it one time, unless you're going to change your pricing here and there or have new menu items, and it's all set for you, and it's going to determine all that information you need to make sure you have the right profit margin for every single menu item. So I'm not going to go over an entire video on this. I do it in the course. Also, inside Bar Patrol, if you have Bar Patrol app and Bar Patrol software, which is counting inventory, but we also have item costing built right into the recipes. So if I were to look up like a Cosmo, and you can do food inside Bar Patrol, you can count your food, you can do recipe item costing inside your food. But if we look at a Cosmo in the back end, you can see the ingredients right here. We have all the ingredients, the portion sizes, 1.5 ounces of Absolute vodka. It gets half a lime for the lime juice, 1/2 ounce of triple sec, and then 1/2 ounce of cranberry juice. All the ingredients is in here for a Cosmo, and it's going to tell you, you enter what you sell it at, $9. It's going to tell you your total cost, your cost percentage, and your total profit. You can adjust the price, and it will adjust all the other numbers. As you can see, if I change it to 10, it adjusts all this. So you can put that price where you want it to hit those target numbers. So that's all built inside Bar Patrol. You'll get that included in one price if you do get Bar Patrol and sign up, plus counting your inventory, invoicing, ordering, all that. So you can go check out Bar Patrol at barpatrol.net if you want a software that does it for you. So now let's get back into the Rockstar item costing, which is really cool. This identifies all of your best sellers and your the items that are making the most profit for you. So to understand what we're looking for here, we're going to head back here, take a look at this. This is our menu matrix. And actually Upserve has something really cool built in that already identifies this, but this spreadsheet I'm about to show you has this built in. So what we're looking for, of course, are the rock stars. High profit, high popularity. Popularity means they order it a lot. People order it like crazy, has great profit. We want rock stars everywhere on our menu, of course. The princess makes a lot of money, high profit, but it's a low popularity. Now you might say, well, why isn't a princess popular? They're so popular. But I'm talking about like a high school princess where she's snobby and she's high maintenance and she's not very well liked. So it's not ordered very much, but it gets a high profit. So we need to identify these so we can push them more. We can highlight them, we can advertise them because they're making money. People just don't order them very much. Then on the bottom here, these are not good because they're both low profit. The blue collar, he's well liked, right? We all love a blue collar guy, but he just doesn't make much money. And then we have the loser here, which sounds kind of mean, but he just doesn't make any money. And of course, he's not very popular. We got to get the losers off. We got to get the blue collars off. We want to move up in this area, identify the princesses, and then highlight those items. Okay, so here's what the spreadsheet looks like. Again, you can get this on the Restaurant Management Masterclass, and down here at the bottom, you can see we have the bar menu, appetizers, soups and salads, entrees, desserts. You want to separate each of these so you can look at them individually. We're just going to look at the appetizer example. You can see the little charts up here that I just showed you to remind you what we're looking for. Okay, so what we have here are we have the item names. I'm not going to go over in great detail this, but I just want to show you what it does. So you're basically going to fill out everything in white, and you fill these out, you fill the total cost out, which we get from our other item costing sheet, right, that we did. It's going to tell you what your total cost is for each of these. And then the sell price, you only have to do that once. And then each week you just come along and get your sales data and you enter how many you sold. And it's going to tell you every week or every month, however often you do this, what's selling, what's popular, what your rock stars are, what your princesses are. Okay, so as you can see here, Monster Nachos is a blue collar, which means it's not making enough profit, but it's very popular, right? Nachos are always very popular. And this is a little surprising because nachos are usually pretty good profit. I bet if we just change the price a little bit to 10, that turns into a rock star. You can see over here. It's going to tell you based on this information what category it's in. So you just adjust the price a little bit. Oh, we need to make nachos $10 to be a rock star. Now, the only thing is because of price elasticity, anytime you raise the price here, the number sold is going to go down. So you have to find that sweet spot, and which is a good price that you're making profit, but people are still ordering it. So you can experiment a little bit with this with each menu that comes out. I'm going to switch that back to 9 just because it's where it was. Other things like the potato skins, there's your princess we're looking for. Okay, it gets great profit, but it's not ordered very much. So on the menu, we need to put a little box around there. This is all about menu engineering. I have a video on that as well, on making sure we point out our best items that are making profit so the eyes are drawn to it. So we need to push potato skins. Other things on here are losers, like mozzarella sticks costing way too much money. Wings, so show blue collar here. Usually that's just a loser. Wings are very expensive. I'm sorry, this is blue collar. Wings are blue collar because they're very popular. People order them like crazy, but they usually don't make much money. So this item costing rockstar sheet is going to categorize each of your menu items based on how many were sold, the popularity, and the profit. Down here, it's going to give you your total cost of all your appetizers for the week, whatever time period you're doing, your revenue, your total profit, and then your overall cost percentage. You can see it's at 35% here, a little high for food. We want that down to about 30 to 32%, your average profit per item. So this whole sheet does everything for you. All right, so whatever you choose as your tool, you need to make sure that your item costing, break every single menu item down, and then decide which ones are making the most profit, which ones are popular, so you can put those on your menu and your profits go up and your sales go up. It's amazing. So I hope that all makes sense. I know it seems like a lot of work, but it needs to be done. And once you get it laid out, then you're good to go. You don't have to do it every single day. Once you lay out your item costing, it's just a few adjustments here and there. And this is why you have to systemize everything. Break up job duties to other managers, right? You have item costing, you have ordering and invoicing, you got to take care of scheduling. Break down all the job duties, systemize your restaurant so everything's broken down and everything gets taken care of. So I hope that helped. Okay, don't make the same mistake as that chain restaurant. Get your stuff in order. Thanks for being here. Visit us at barpatrol.net for more cool stuff and resources, as well as therealbarman.com. If you have any comments or questions, put it in the comments below. We'll try to answer everything. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to see you next time. I'm out.